If you are a Sigma male, you may not want to admit it, but chances are you do not have a lot of close friends. You might be wondering why this is the case, especially when you know you are smart and capable. While it is common to desire a friend who shares your thoughts, not everyone values friendship the same way. Some people think Sigma men do not have many friends because they do not follow the crowd. While this may be true in some cases, there are also deeper psychological reasons why Sigma men have few or no friends. Let's explore 12 of the most significant reasons. 1. People lie too much, and it takes a. According to a study conducted by the University of Massachusetts, 60% of individuals aged 18 and above struggle to trust others over a long period of time. 70% of all people who lie claim that they are willing to do it again. While lying can be useful in certain situations, it can also make it challenging to trust others. Sigma men, in particular, are more sensitive to the truth and prefer to have trustworthy individuals around them. They are hesitant to trust someone until that person consistently proves to be reliable. This can make it tough for Sigma men to form deep friendships, as others may not understand their cautious nature. Sigma men prioritize honesty, which can be hard to come by in many social circles where lying is common. Sigma men are typically very honest and direct in their everyday communication. Some people may find this off-putting as they prefer to get straight to the point and not waste time with small talk. If something doesn't feel right, or if someone seems to be taking advantage of them, Sigma men will quickly back away from the situation. They dislike feeling foolish or unappreciated, and will move away if you start acting suspicious or dishonest towards them. This is why they may seem to struggle with trusting others. They prefer to keep their distance from people who seem untrustworthy or not reliable. They believe in the saying, "better safe than sorry." Sigma men are quick to detect any signs of trouble. And now every time you talk, they're judging your every word and action. While this may sound exaggerated, it's actually one of the reasons why they can't be fooled around with. This can be seen as a negative trait by people who don't understand why they act this way. But when you look at it from their perspective, it's actually quite understandable, unless you don't mind being taken advantage of. 3. They don't want a lot of friends, just a few ride or dive house. While other people might want to make a lot of friends and feel accepted, Sigma men are more selective. They want to have a few close friends who will always have their back no matter what. Having too many friends can be exhausting and overwhelming for them because they don't like to spread themselves too thin. This doesn't mean that Sigma men are antisocial. They just prefer quality over quantity when it comes to the relationships and friendships. These men aren't looking for a large and diverse network of friends. They just want to find someone who truly understands them and thinks the same way. This kind of friendship is hard to come by, so Sigma males tend to be quite picky about whom they let into their inner circle. If you can make it past this strict selection process and earn their trust, then you just want a friend for life. From this point on, you can expect nothing but loyalty and honesty from your Sigma pal. While this process makes it hard to make friends, it also makes The ones you do make much more meaningful. This kind of loyalty can be hard to find, but once you have it, it's a bond that'll last a lifetime. Just think about all your friends who have come and gone, then compare them to the ones who are still around after all these years. Those are the kind of people Sigma men want as friends, not the ones who are only around when it's convenient for them. 4. They are highly skeptical of those who become their fast friends. While most alpha males don't care about anything than reputation and status when making friends, Sigma males are a little more picky. People you surround yourself with will determine what kind of person you turn out to be, so they approach each potential friendship with caution. They are highly skeptical of those who become their fast friends, as it looks suspicious when someone who was once a complete stranger suddenly becomes close to them. This doesn't mean that Sigma men don't like making new friends, but they are always looking for genuine ones. Making close friends overnight is often seen as something suspicious. This isn't always the case, but Sigma men would rather get to know someone for a while before calling them a friend. They don't want superficial relationships. They just want to ensure the people they become close with have their best interests in mind. You know the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's something Sigma men take very seriously. They want to ensure that the people they call friends are good for them, not just yes men or people who only hang around out of convenience. 5. They don't make much of an effort to make new friends. You will never see a Sigma man trying too hard to make new friends. They don't feel the need to impress anyone or show off any accomplishments, so they don't bother putting on a show to gain favor with others. Instead of relying on flashy displays, these men focus more on the quality of their relationships. They want to be sure that the person they are about to become friends with is genuine and trustworthy, so they don't make much effort to get close. The Sigma man tends to be an introvert and can often be found in his own world, thinking quietly or in the company of close friends. They are not particularly talkative, so they won't make any effort to strike up a conversation with strangers. However, this doesn't mean that they don't like talking with people. They simply don't feel the need to do it for the sake of being social. While some may see this as a negative trait, others may appreciate it. After all, when was the last time you had an enjoyable conversation with someone who tried too hard to impress you? Probably never. 6. Their expectations for loyalty and trust are extremely high. When it comes to trust and loyalty, Sigma men expect nothing less than total commitment. They don't just want people who will stick around when it's Convenient for them, you can find those kinds of people anywhere. But what's hard to find is someone who will stand by you through thick and thin. It's like they know intuitively when someone isn't giving them their all, and they can spot it a mile away to someone. Like Sigma, loyalty is everything. And that makes them such great friends, partners, and confidants. Not only do they expect loyalty from those around them, but they also strive to be loyal to those they care for. They will always do their best to protect the ones they love, no matter the situation. This is especially true in romantic relationships, as they are highly devoted to their partners and will do whatever they can to make them feel safe and secure. While this kind of loyalty isn't always easy for some people, those who understand it fully are the ones that reap its rewards. Sigma men also don't forget easily about matters of trust and loyalty. If you break their trust, it's very difficult to rebuild it again. This doesn't mean they don't forgive, but they certainly don't forget when someone betrayed them. While some Sigmas may be able to give a second chance, most of them won't do so unless they are absolutely sure that the person is genuine and won't break their trust. Again, people often say that loyalty is a rare commodity these days, and if you want loyalty, get a dog. While this may seem funny, it's actually somewhat true. 7. Their quiet and mysterious nature often intimidates others. Sigma men tend to be very private and have a mysterious aura that can often be intimidating for some. They don't like to reveal too much about themselves and prefer to stay in the background rather than be in the spotlight. This is why they're often underestimated by those who don't know them, as it's easy to mistake their quietness for lack of confidence. However, those who have spent enough time with Sigma men know there's much more to them than meets the eye. They are usually incredibly passionate about their interests and hobbies and can be quite vocal when discussing them. While they may not always express their feelings openly, they still value human connection just like everyone else. This can create a bit of an obstacle, and when building relationships with these men, as it's difficult for them to let people in and allow themselves to be vulnerable. However, they can become quite outgoing and sociable once they open up and get comfortable with someone. 8. They strongly dislike getting involved in conflicts or drama. These men are very peace-loving and don't like getting involved in arguments or conflicts. This is because they see no point in bickering and would rather find a calm resolution to any problem. They are not the type to get into shutting matches or heated debates, as they understand that communication should be constructive rather than destructive. While this may make them appear weak or passive to some, it's actually a sign of strength and maturity. Many don't know that it takes more courage to stay silent than it does to shout, of course. This doesn't mean that they are never confrontational if someone tries to take advantage of them or step on their toes. They will certainly not hesitate to take a stand and defend themselves while they appear silent and unassuming. The last thing you want is a Sigma man with a vendetta. These men know how to get the job done when it matters. However, they will always try to keep the situation from escalating and will strive to find a peaceful solution. They're not really fans of big crowds, shouts. Sigma men may look calm and composed in big crowds, but they're usually quite uncomfortable when it comes to small talk and large groups. They prefer one-on-one conversations as they find it easier to make meaningful connections this way. And while these men can be quite charismatic when they open up, they usually don't like situations where they're expected to entertain or put on a show. This isn't because Sigmas are socially awkward. Far from it. They just don't need to draw attention to themselves, as they prefer living below the radar. They'd like to spend time with close friends and family in an intimate setting. The same can be said of their career choices as well. They usually don't go into professions that involve a lot of public speaking or require them to be constantly in the spotlight. They can do it if they have to, but it's simply not their preference. They'd much rather be in the background, quietly making a difference without all the fanfare and attention. These are the kind of people who don't want to be famous but want to make an impact. 10. They're highly selective about who they allow into their life. While there's nothing wrong with having a large circle of friends or acquaintances, Sigma men are usually very selective about who they choose to associate themselves with. It's like they have an internal filter telling them whether someone is worth their time and energy, even if the person is likable and friendly. Sigma males may still choose to keep their distance if they don't feel any sort of connection. This isn't because these men are snobbish or exclusive, but why waste time on people you don't have any chemistry with? This selectiveness can also make it difficult for others to get close to. And while these men may appear aloof, it doesn't mean they are antisocial. The only people who have this misconception about them are the ones who don't know them. If you ask Sigma's friends, they'll tell you that these men are actually quite generous and loyal. 11. They are rare and often misunderstood by others. People are not used to such a rare personality type, so it's understandable why Sigma men can seem a little strange and out of place to some. They don't fit the mold of what most people think a normal person should be, which can make It's difficult for them to find their place in the world, but don't mistake their silence or introversion for pessimism. These men are incredibly optimistic and have a deep appreciation for life. Sigma men may not be the most social or outgoing, but they often possess an inner strength and wisdom rarely seen, although it can be hard for many to understand their unique way of thinking and behaving. This is exactly what makes them so special. Many women find themselves drawn to these men as they can sense the depth of their character and appreciate their strong sense of self. 12. They are not desperate for attention or acceptance from others. The last thing you'll ever see from a Sigma is an attempt to win approval or validation from others. He doesn't care about impressing people or making a show of himself. These men follow their own rules and don't need anyone's affirmation to feel good about themselves. This is why they can come off as arrogant. They simply don't care what others think of them. This doesn't mean they don't enjoy praise or compliments, but they won't go out of their way to get it. They'd rather focus on living life according to their own standards and values, as this is where true satisfaction and peace of mind come from. This kind of self-confidence is hard to come by, and that's why many people respect and admire them.